Hello students, welcome back to my channel. So we are learning the chapter 12, which is data file handling, and today's is a session 2. In the first session we had seen the introduction to data file handling. We had seen various definitions, which are the different, what is the stream mean, what are the different kind of data stream, what is the different classes which will help us in order to handle these streams. Now these streams, we learned that this is nothing but the data flowing into a system from an input device, or it is data flowing outside from the program into the output device. So it can be from the input to the program and from the program to the output. So which are the different classes which we use in order to handle these file stream operations. So all these things we have learned in the last class. We have seen the hierarchy and everything. Okay, so today we are going to go ahead and see how we can open and close files in order to perform these operations. Okay, so we know that here the files, why do we use these files? These files are nothing but our parameters or nothing but the data which we are inputting. Okay, the data, usually if you are doing a C program, you know that once you execute and compile, you will get an output screen and where you enter certain details, isn't it? So that details, what we used to do is we were manually entering the data. Now here what is going to happen is we are giving an entire file which is the present in your system as the input. Okay, so your program is going to read the data from this file and perform the required operation. Okay, which whatever program you have written, the calculation it is supposed to do, it will read the data from your file, it will perform the operation, and it is going to write the output into another file. Okay, so here we are basically using file as our input and output. So that is what we learned in the last session. So today we are going to learn how we are going to open a file. Okay, if I want to read from it or if I want to write into a file, or once I open, how am I going to close that file? So what is the syntax for that? Which are the different classes we are going to use? All those things we are going to learn. So apart from this, in the previous session, we also learned the different types of data files, isn't it? Which are those? First one we learned is text files, okay, where the data is stored in the form of ASCII, and we also learned that it is always going to have a end of line character, and this was the first type. Second type we learned is nothing but a binary file where the data is stored in the form of binary bits, that is your zeros and ones, and there is no end of line character available in binary files. So these are the things which we learned. So let us go ahead and see what we are going to see today. So today is going to be a small session, okay? So the very first thing is opening a file can be accomplished in two ways. When we are doing a data file handling, we can do it using two ways. So the very first one is opening using a constructor. Okay, so what is a constructor? So we have an entire chapter dedicated to constructor. I request all of you to go through that. Okay, so one method is nothing but using a constructor method. Another is file open member function. Okay, so remember, a member function, open is a member function. We can either use open or we can use a constructor, right? So these are the different types. So before going ahead, let me quickly recap what is a constructor. Now we have learned that constructor is nothing but something which builds, isn't it? Now which builds an object. We have learned the classes and object. Now what is a class, what is an object? What is an object? It is nothing but which is created based on a class. Class is like a blueprint of something. I'm going to create an object of this class type, isn't it? So every time, when does a constructor get evoked? Every time I'm creating an object. For example, if I have a class called as sum, and if I am creating an object called as s, okay, if I have a sum constructor within this class, then what is going to happen? As soon as I create, or as soon as I create an object of this particular class, immediately I'm going to initialize it. A constructor is nothing but it gets initialized as soon as I create an object, isn't it? So same methodology we are going to see when it comes to opening and closing file. Also, what is a member function? When I have a class, under the class I have two types of members you can see. One is member data, Another one is member functions. All this we have learned in the previous sessions. Okay, so what is member data? Data members are nothing but the initialization, different data which we have initialized under the class. Okay, member functions is nothing but the different functions which comes under this class. So when I say open is a member function, is nothing but again whatever the class we are going to use. For example, if stream, off stream, f stream, different classes which you have learned. Under those classes, these open comes. Okay, so these open belongs to the respective classes. It is a member function of the class. That is why we are able to use. Another thing is I'm going to create an object of that particular class and use a constructor in order to open or close the files. If it is confusing, don't worry, because when we are going ahead with an example and when we see the um, syntax, it is going to be clear to you, right? So first let us see how do we open a file using a constructor, okay, in order to process the data file handling. So the syntax of opening a file for output purpose only, remember. So there is a various purpose for which I might be wanting to open a file. It can be for output purpose or for input purpose. So here I am seeing for output purpose only, remember, using an object of stream class. This we have learnt. Where is the offstream class used? I have told you to remember this very first prefix. When it is O, it is nothing but output. When it is I, it is nothing but input. Okay, so when it is an offstream class, we will be using it for output purpose only. Okay, that is the main very important word here. So what is the syntax for that? I'm going to use the word offstream. This is going to be my keyword. Then I'm going to create an object. Object name can be any name of your choice, and the file name, the respective file which you want to use. Okay, so for example, see here, off stream, the keyword remains same. Fout is a name given by a user. This is nothing but my object name, and result.dat is a file which I want to use. Okay, this is the parameter I'm passing in for this object. Okay, and this is the file I want to open in order to output purpose only. So what is the syntax? I will write the upstream, that is a name of my class. Then I create an object of that class, and the file which I want to open for output purpose only, I will pass it as a parameter. Very simple. This is the syntax. So what if I want to use the file for input purpose? If I'm opening a file for output, suppose I want to read from a file, then what I'm going to do? I'm going to, of course, use the ifstream class. Okay, so what is this for? This is for input purpose only. Very, very important. So what is the syntax again? Instead of offstream, I have the keyword ifstream. Then I have the object name given by the user and the file which I want to read in order to process my program. See the example here. This is my keyword. fin is the name, that is a variable or the object name given by the user. Again, here we are using the same file in order to read. So what is the difference here? Difference here is the keyword used here. Okay, also even if you use fout here, still it will work, because we know that object name can be any name apart from your keywords, right? So for offstream, I'm going to use the offstream class name. For ifstream, I'm going to use the ifstream class name. And offstream can be used only for output purpose only, and ifstream class can be used for input purpose only. Now, next we have opening a file using open. Now that we have seen using constructors. Okay, now remember here why it is a constructor. Again, we have I've told you that constructors are invoked only when an object of a class is created. So here I am doing is nothing but I'm creating an object of a particular class, isn't it? So that time a constructor gets invoked and automatically it is going to process, isn't it? So here I am using a parameter, for this. We have seen the different types of constructor where we can have a parameterized constructor also. So this is the parameter which I am passing for the constructor. Now let us see what is the method we will be using, or the syntax, if I want to use the member function for opening the file. Okay, that member function is nothing but the open member function. So see here the syntax for opening a file for output purpose only. Again here, output purpose only, using an object of stream class and open member function, remember, is again I'm going to create an object. Okay, I have to create an object of offstream type dot open. Now why is this? We know that when I have a certain class, in order to access the member function, so suppose I have some function f here. If I want to access this member function, then I will be creating an object, and using a dot operator only I can call that function, isn't it? This we have learned in classes and objects. The same thing it is happening. I'm creating an object of offstream class, then I'm using the dot operator, and then I'm calling the member function, and this is the parameter. That is nothing but the file which I want to open for output purpose only. That file becomes my parameter. So for example, see here, offstream o file. So what this is o file is, this is my keyword, this becomes my object name. Initially I'm creating an object, then using that object, see, o file dot open, I'm using data1. This is the first file I'm going to open. O file dot open text dot dat. So like this I can use I can open n number of files using this particular object. I hope this is clear. This is very simple, students. When it comes to constructor, I'm creating an object and directly passing a file as a parameter, wherein which using an open member function. Since it is a member function, first I'm creating an object, and using a dot operator I'm calling this member function, right? Now let us see, how about if it is I want to open. So this is similar to the offstream. So here I'm going to create an object of ifstream class. So ifstream, I'm going to create an object. Okay, this is the object. Then using that object, again dot operator, I'm going to call the member function open, and I'm going to pass the file which I want to use for input purpose only as a parameter. So see here, file is the object I've created of type ifstream, and then using the dot operator I have opened two files here. And what I can do opening these two files, if I'm using an object of ifstream, I can use it for input only. I cannot use it for output purpose. Okay, I hope you got the difference between these two. Now here there is another case. What if I want to open the file for both? That is, if I want to open it for input as well as output purpose. So what is going to happen? Okay, if we have to open a file for both input and output operations, we use objects of fstream class. Okay, so now this we have seen in the hierarchy what we studied in the previous session. We know that the class fstream, okay, which is this class, is nothing but it is derived from your ifstream and offstream, isn't it? This becomes the parent and this becomes the base class, and we know that a base class can derive the properties of both its parent. So that is why I'm able to use this. So objects of the class can invoke all the member function of its base class, isn't it? So that is why I'm able to invoke the open function also. So I'm going to create fstream object. Okay, and now here see the difference. I'm going to say fstream object. Now here I'm going to use file name, right? And then there is something called as a mode, of course, because we don't know for which operation we are opening this particular file. So this is the syntax, that is fstream is nothing but my class name. I'm going to create an object, then the file which I want to open, then I'm going to use something called as a mode. So this is the additional parameter which I'm passing when I want to open a particular file for both input and output purpose. Okay, so this is using your constructor method. So this is nothing but we are using a constructor method in order to open the file using the fstream class, and this is nothing but my open open the file using a open member function. Okay, so we are clear till here. We have learned that there is a keyword of a class name, then there is an object, then there is a open function. So what is this mode exactly? So how it is going to work? So let us see a list of modes which we can use in order to use this particular method, where we can open the file for both input as well as output. Okay, so see this is the concept of file modes. So what is this? So we have a list of table here. As you can see, this is the different file mode operators which we can use as a file mode parameters which we can use along with the file name in the given syntax, the syntax what we saw in the previous. So first thing is iOS, we will use this double colon, okay, and app. This is nothing but append to the end of the file. So this is the mode. So if at all you're opening a file using this parameter, which means that I have to add the content, whatever I'm doing now, to the end of the file. So these are the stream to which it belongs, okay. Of course, since we are adding something into the file, it belongs to the output stream, okay. iOS in is nothing but open file for reading only, okay. It is iOS out means open file for writing only. iOS ATE is nothing but open file for updation and move the file pointer to the end of the file. Now this is also important, okay, at the end of the file, not just updation, also once you update, move the cursor to the end. iOS binary, opening a binary file. iOS no replace, turn down opening if the file already exists, right. iOS no create, turn down opening if file does not exist. iOS trunk, on opening delete the content of the file. So these are the different parameters along with the file you can give. Now why do we need all this? Now every programmer will have a different requirement, isn't it? There may be situation where you want to turn down opening of a file, where you want to clear the content of the file. Maybe it is some important document where you do not want others to open, and as soon as they open it, you want everything to be deleted. There can be a n number of reasons, isn't it? So these are the different modes which are available for you, which you can use in order to open and in order to input and output into the file. If you can see here, there are different stream types. They belong to different stream types, but yet it can be used in the with the same command, that is nothing but your F stream. So see the example here, two examples I have written here. The first one is F stream F out, okay. So F stream F out, so I'm using a object here, and then I am passing a text dat as an input, and my mode is iOS out. Now we know that iOS out means open file for writing only. So here I am going to use this only to write into this, okay. Here fstream fin text dot dat iOS in. So what is this? File for reading only. Similarly, we can use file open, okay. So for example, you can create an object fstream f out. If I can use fstream, and I can say probably f, I will use f dot open, and I can have some file name. Let me use text.dat, and after that I will use this has to be within double quotes, and then I can use certain mode, for example iOS double colon no. So when I say that, this is nothing but I do not want the opening of the file if it does not exist, okay. Also I might also want to add something. For example, I want to open the file reading only, at the same time I want to turn down the opening of the file if it does not exist. So that time I can use this as well as this. How do I use that? I have to use a OR symbol, okay. This OR symbol which you can see in your keyboard, using this I can add another mode over here. So this is also possible, right. So these are the different mode operations. So what we have learned about opening of the file, let's do a quick recap. We can open a file using a constructor where we can use the upstream object in order to output purpose only, and we can use the ifstream for input purpose only. We can open the file using open. Here also we will create an object of upstream, and then we will use a member function open. Similarly, we will create an object of ifstream, and then we will use the member function open. Then if we want to open a file for both input and output purpose, then we can use constructor method as well as open method, but for this we will use the fstream class method. And then also as a parameter apart from file name, we will use the modes, wherein which these are the list of modes, right. So we have done the opening, we have done all the processing. After that, what? How do we close? Is it required? Yes. After the intended operations are done with the file should be safely saved on the secondary storage for later retrieval, isn't it? Now this is done by the member function close. So we are going to use another member function close. The function on its execution removes the linkage between the file and the stream object. So this will cut the linkage between the stream and object and it will store it in the secondary device. So this is nothing but a stream object dot close. Okay, so whatever for open objects we have created for opening, same objects we can use, but instead of open member function, here we are using close member function. So whatever the files which has been used using these objects will get automatically closed when we use this command, right? So students, this is all about opening and closing of the file in order to use a file as a data input in data file handling. Hope these contents are helping you. So that's all in today's session, students. Keep learning. Thank you for watching.